Hello, my name is Jonathan Solon. Welcome to the Nevins Train. Today, our profile is on Martha Elizabeth Griffith Nevins, Mattie Nevins, my great grandmother. Mattie was born in 1860 in Winston-Salem. The family finances would be wrecked by the Civil War. She and her family would move to Missouri. She would meet and marry Newt Nevins, and they would travel out west and settle as pioneers on the Kansas plains. Just over 50 years after her death, she would be honored by the publication Mothers of Achievement in American History as one of only 10 profiles in the entire state of Kansas. Wow. Interested? Hop on board the Soul Train. I would like to start this profile of Mattie Nevins with the big picture view. So let's take a look at the family tree. Mattie was born in 1860. Her parents were Zenith Clark Griffith, and her mother was Lucinda Melvina Bodenheimer. And I look forward to doing those profiles. Her children, the youngest, my grandmother, Martha Elizabeth, born in 1904. Her first child, the oldest, was Eulalia. Eulalia was 22 years older than my grandmother. The other children were Clarence. Two children passed away, Earl and Fred. Then there was Arthur and Ralph, and then Ermagene. What an amazing family. And what I want to add is that in notes provided by my Aunt Ermagene, she made very clear that in their family, women were treated the same as the men, the girls the same as the boys. And what the boys were given, the girls were also given. Martha was passionate about education and insisted that all of her children would attend school, and many of them would be teachers and achieve the highest accreditation as teachers could at that time in Kansas. Mattie would marry Newt Nevins in 1881, and that's when they would begin their move westward through several different homesteads in Kansas. And then they would be in Royal County, Royal Township, north of Dodge City for 10 years. When they moved out west, they did have several of her brothers and sisters come with them. I'm a little sketchy on the details there, but they did have family members that were with them when they traveled out west and made their homesteads out there. These were very difficult years, and they did rely on each other for survival. I'd like to read again from the family history. These early Ford County pioneers shared their joys and sorrows, their work and play, their books and reading materials. Each family had the Bible and had stories from the Bible, Lamb's stories from Shakespeare, McGuffey's readers, and books used in school. Mother was a seamstress and made many of the fashionable dresses for her younger sisters. Aunt Florence often spoke of what a careful seamstress she was, considering how inadequate her tools. Mother taught the Utterback, Royal, and Ridenour schools, quoting from Eulalia. The instruction was quite modern. Counting was learned by using objects, reading by the word method, and they made clay for use in handiwork. Around 1900, the family would sell their farm north of Dodge City, where they had lost their two children, and they would move to Ford, which was east of Dodge City. Aunt Eulalia writes, "The hard and difficult years were over. Mother stopped teaching. Dad purchased a farm on the Arkansas River, directly east of Ford. Here, Mother was able to see trees, hear the birds sing, for along the river banks there were trees, bushes, green grass, more to her liking than farms north of Dodge City. Dad and Mother built a modern house. For the first time, the family had a pump in the kitchen, a wooden sink, and a bathtub without running water, a cream separator, and a modern machinery for the farm. Oops, correction time. They actually moved to Ford in 1895, and I can't help to wait to read you this little blurb. I just love it. Um, Ralph Nevins was born in 1896. He was the only Nevins born in a city in Ford, count people of 100, not on a farm. He was a sickly baby and had spasms, and it was thought for a time he would not live. There were no telephones. Mother and Eulalia worked out an ingenious method for obtaining help. Eulalia attended the school close to home and sat on the side of the room where she could see the house. Mother was to hang out a quilt at a certain place on the clothesline, and this meant Eulalia should come home immediately and assist Mother. Mother forgot the arrangement, hung the quilt. Eulalia saw it, and immediately excused herself from school. She ran home and found Ralph a happy, gurgling baby. Eulalia writes that he was cured by eating fresh peaches. The new farm that Dad had purchased had peach trees. With a little bit more time on her hands, Mattie Nevins was able to thrive as a leader in the community and the church. Take a look at this amazing photograph of the Women's Literary Club of Ford, Kansas. Mattie Nevins knew her mind, and this cute little story in the family history. They attended the Methodist church until a new minister came into town, and Mattie did not like this Methodist minister, and she referred to him as a shoutin' Methodist. Um, when this minister left and one whose theology agreed with hers, we returned to the Methodist church. Little did Mattie Nevins know at the time that her daughter, Martha Elizabeth, would marry Harold Lewis Solon, who would be a Methodist minister. In 1911, the family would move to Dodge City, where it would be easier to manage the hardware store, but also because Aunt Eulalia was a resident of Dodge City, and my grandmother and Aunt Irma would be able to attend high school in Dodge City because there was no high school in Ford. Time for just a snippet of American history. The Chautauqua events were opportunities for small town America to be exposed to culture, specifically the Red Path Horner Chautauqua, which was a traveling tent show, came to Dodge City. And as the family history notes here, we heard the great bands such as John Philip Sousa, great singers, political and religious leaders. I have forgotten many of their names. This was a great experience. Culture came to Dodge City. Mother reveled in the event, and we all had tickets and attended every session. So here's the book, Mothers of Achievement in American History, 1776 through 1976. And when when the book was published, my grandmother and the Baldwin paper made a highlight of this pioneer woman. Now, at the end of this article is another story told by my grandmother. It's one that I've not heard before. And I'm going to read it to you, giving you my best grandmother Betty Solon impression. Um, My grandmother, as it says here in the article, also remembers a humorous side of her mother. Martha was not necessarily an overly religious woman. And one day, a neighbor who espoused the gospel rather fervently got down on her knees in the Nevins kitchen and asked Martha to join her. In the same prayer tone as the wailing neighbor, Betty says, her mother asked her to go get a neighbor to join them. "Oh, Elizabeth, go get Mrs. Hubble." And so it was quite the shock to the entire family when their mother, when Mattie would pass away very suddenly. Central to their entire life, central to everything they did. The account is rather riveting in recollection of that day. Mother was peeling pears and fell over and died instantly in the kitchen. The time was 12:40. Leora ran for Miss Hobble, who recognized the seriousness of the situation. She called Clarence, who was at that time talking with Alice. Mrs. Hobble told Central, the telephone operator, she thought Mother had passed away and needed help. Central broke into the conversation of Clarence and Alice. Clarence asked Ralph, who was returning from lunch, what was the matter with Mother. He said she was okay. Ralph immediately returned to the home. Alice got in her car and went to the high school and told Eulalia to go home. Clarence called the doctor and sent one of the men to the store to go to the farm after Dad. Eulalia and Ralph arrived at the house at the same time. Dr. Thompson arrived. He pronounced Mother dead. Clarence called me and said, "Be home on the Santa Fe number 7, the fast mail train." He telegraphed Elizabeth, my grandmother, and said, "Mother needs you. Come home at once." To Arthur, he sent a telegram and said Mother had died. As quickly as possible, all of us got home. I arrived Monday evening, Elizabeth Tuesday morning, and Arthur on Wednesday. This photo here was taken about 1921, and that would be about 2 years before Mattie would pass away. And we talked a little bit about how close and intertwined and family the Griffith family was. So from left to right is Theophilus Clark, Uncle TC, and then my grandmother, Martha, and then Mattie Elizabeth, third from the left. Alfred Griffith, Jane Griffith, Irma Jean, who we'll do a video on, my great aunt Irma, Evelyn, and then my great-grandfather, Osro Newton Nevins. Probably at some type of church event. It looks like they're in front of a tent. And so I'll close this profile of Martha Elizabeth Griffith Nevins with her obituary. A true pioneer woman, a fierce proponent of women's rights and education. It reads, Dodge City people were shocked to learn of the sudden death of Mrs. O.N. Nevins. And if you go all the way to the bottom, you will see, out of respect to her memory, the Dodge City schools were dismissed early this afternoon so that many of the students, as desired, might attend her funeral. The schools were shut down early because so many students remembered the importance of Mattie Nevins to their education. So a life well lived, Mattie Nevins. And we'll continue this profile of the Nevins family with two amazing daughters of Mattie Nevins, my great aunt Eulalia and my great aunt Irma. Can't wait to do these. So next time on the Nevins train, hop on board.
State of Arkansas, where my great grandpa met my great grandma. They drink apple cider and they get heard before. They play the only tune that they ever did know. It's a ragtime ditty and the rhythm don't drag. Now here's the way you dance to the salty dog rag.